Hi everyone, it's Jenny with Joey and Jenny's Little Yellow House, and you can find us on YouTube at Joey143Jenny. So tonight I thought I would make a nice dinner, kind of a breakfast dinner for Joey, and I thought I would do a quiche, and I thought, oh well, I'll just turn on the film and the camera and do it together. So it's a very easy recipe. Again, I don't measure a lot of things, but I am going to try to give you measurements. I start out with one of these Pillsbury pie crusts. See, this is a staple I keep in the fridge because at the last minute you can always throw something together into a pie, which is exactly what I'm doing tonight. So if you've never worked with this before, you kind of let it get to room temp a little bit. It still has a chill to it, but you want it to easily unroll, kind of what I'm doing here. And then what I do is I just gently fold it in my hands a little bit. The hands will warm it, and then it helps to stretch it just a little bit. So I go back and forth a little bit like that, just to stretch it a little bit so that it goes into my pie crust. When I make when Joey and I make like a pie for, like a pumpkin pie or something like that, pecan pie, I might use a deeper dish. And sometimes I've even made a quiche in a deeper dish, and that's totally fine. But then I'll stretch it even more, like I was just doing. But this one's going to be fine. You'll see there's a little bit of gap here. I'll just smush it back together. And I'm going to let that sit for just a minute while I go through and just tell you what I'm going to put in here. So right now I've got 5 eggs in here with just about I'm going to say 1/8 of a cup of milk. I like to use skim milk. Joey and I, neither one like milk at all, so it's rare that we even have it. But Joey got some for his cereal. I don't even put milk in my cereal. And he uses whole milk, so that's what's in here. That's why you see that nice creamy, which is going to be perfect for a quiche. And then I have roughly cut up some yellow onion. It's really the only onion I can eat. Joey can eat any onion. And then I have some, I would say onion-wise, maybe a 1/4 cup. It's to taste, really. And then maybe a tablespoon of garlic. We usually have garlic and stuff. And then I just rough cut 3 pieces of cooked bacon. I have Parmesan cheese. I have sharp cheddar cheese, which I love. And then I have some spinach. And I also have cream of mushroom soup. This is kind of my key when I'm making a quiche, to make it nice and rich. You can also add other things. I'll probably grab the basil and the pepper. I totally forgot about that. But you can add, it looks like I have a little onion there. You can add, just all kinds of things to make it creamy. You could add actual cream. You could add sour cream. Gives it just a little bit of a bite, and I've done that before. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do, and we've taught our grandchildren to do this, so it's a lot of fun in the kitchen to do it with them, is I'm just gently going to fold over a little bit, folding it under. If this was a double pie crust, like when I make a turkey pot pie after Thanksgiving with all the leftovers, if it was a double pie crust, what I would do is put the top crust on, put some pretty little slits in it, and for ventilation. And then I would take the top pie crust and I would roll it under the bottom pie crust. That kind of helps seal it. So I'm just going around here real quick to do that. And then I'm just going to do a real quick flute on the edges. You could do, excuse me, you could take a pretty fork or something and do that, or whatever. But basically what I'm going to do is across from me, I'm just going to make a V, and I'm going to pull it, and then I'm just going to keep doing that gently. Another thing that our grandkids like to help do. They think that's fun. it is fun. Slash, it makes it pretty. And when you use your fingers to space, it makes it, you know, fairly even. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that I didn't pounce it down too hard onto the edge, because I don't want it sticking to the edge, you know, and then lose all that wonderful crust when you go to serve. And anytime I do need to stretch, I just use the back of my hand very gently and just stretch. That heat from your hand will help. And then you just barely stretch it out. Okay, there's the pie crust. And it does taste like homemade. I used to make homemade pie crust, but the time that it takes, you know, and when you want to put something together quickly, it's just worth it to have this Pillsbury one. So I'm just going to beat these eggs real quick. We're expecting to have some rain tonight, so I thought, oh, be nice to have like a nice breakfast dinner. I don't know if you guys ever do that. Have pancakes. Sometimes we'll have pancakes at night. Okay, so now that's done. And then what I'm going to do is just take, let's see if I can find a little spatula. I'm going to try to tell you how much I put in here. I'm going to say 1/4 to 1/2 cup. I don't know. I don't know. I don't put the whole can in. This just helps with the creaminess, and it also gives a wonderful depth of flavor with that mushroom. Now, I do have people, you know, in our family that don't like mushrooms, and I still make it this way, and there's never been any like, oh, yuck, what is that? It's, you know, you have so much in a quiche that really it goes unnoticed. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, so the next steps are really just adding and mixing. Now I'm not going to beat, you know, the eggs anymore. I'm just going to really mix, make sure everything is really coated. That's really key, in my opinion, for a quiche, is to make sure that everything is really coated. So I just kind of give it a little dunk in there. Now I am going to get rid of this. Take it over to my hot soapy water real quick. Okay. And then I do want to rough chop some spinach. Again, I don't know how much. I take a nice, let me grab a big handful. I take a nice big handful like this. And then, you know, kind of like how you cut basil, fresh basil, I'm just going to twist it, kind of roll it on itself like that. And then I'm just going to do a rough chop. Okay. I don't mind having the stems. Some people don't like the stems. Joey and I don't mind that, so I put those in there. And it doesn't have to be a pretty chop, because really once you cook it, it all meshes together nicely, and it's very pretty. You know how spinach kind of wilts a little bit anyway. So we'll put that in there. Okay. All right. Get that out of the way. Then I think I'll just use this spatula, and I'm just gonna, that could be cut a little bit. I'm just gonna turn it like this. I just want those coated. Really, the only reason I really want these coated is because this spinach, the rest of it probably would be okay, but you know, it's kind of like a pizza. When you have something that's not coated with the cheese on a pizza, it's going to get crispy and crunchy. So if that was the bacon, that probably wouldn't be any trouble. But spinach just doesn't look pretty or taste really great when it's charred like that. So I like to coat it. Again, I'm trying not to beat these eggs to death, because I do want them to show nice and fluffy. All right, now I'm going to add some cheese. I like to put some Parmesan in, and I'm going to say, I cup my hand, that's about a quarter cup. And another, so about a half a cup. A piece of spinach. And then probably not as much of the sharp, because the sharp cheddar I'm going to put on the top. And what I'll do is I've preheated my oven for 375. Now your oven may be different, I don't know, but I preheat mine to 375. Again, this is just my own recipe, so it might work better lower or higher, but not much. Eggs cook at a very low temp, so you don't need it super high. So I like 375 because I get into kind of a hurry. And then what I'll do is I kind of my hint is I'll look at the cheddar cheese that I'm going to put on top, and I'll see, excuse me, I'll see how does it look? Is it getting nice and brown? Then I'm going to take, once I see that the cheese is getting kind of a nice golden brown color, then what I'll do is I'll take a knife and I'll insert and see how it comes out. Now what I like to do is when it comes out not soggy wet, but kind of like a wet scrambled egg, you know, like when you see you get scrambled eggs, sometimes they seem that way when you go out to eat. They're a little wetter than, you know, you normally would make at home. So when I see them a little bit wet like that, that's when I'll go ahead and take it out. Not soggy, but just a scramble. It seems like it comes out and it's holding its own, but it's a little bit wet. I'll take it out because it's going to continue to cook for a little bit while you're, you know, serving your plates and stuff. So then what I'm going to serve with this more than likely is a nice spring salad. We have some really nice spring salad mix, and we have a beautiful avocado, which I'll put a little bit of avocado on the salad. And then I have some gorgeous cherry tomatoes. Joey doesn't eat tomatoes, but I sure do, so I'll be putting those on mine. And so I'll serve it with that. And although you probably saw that I use a lot of great value things, that to me they taste great. And so, and slash value compared to others. There are some things I don't skimp on, and one of those being Hidden Valley Ranch dressing. So I'll put a little bit of ranch on ours. Not much, just enough to flavor it good. And then I'll serve it, you know, I'll serve it that way. And it'll be beautiful. So I'm not going to keep you while I cook it. But what I will do is take a picture when it's done, and I'll use that as the thumbnail for this video. The only other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take, you can take some butter, melt it, and then brush it on here, which is typically what we do when we cook pies for like pecan or pumpkin pie or what have you, fruit pie if you want. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly spray it with Pam, and I also sprayed the pie pan with Pam, or a butter spray, I should say, before I put this in. Very light, otherwise this will slide all over the place. But so I'm just going to go around here really light to spray that, and I'll keep an eye on it, make sure these don't burn and get too dark. All right, everybody, thanks for hanging out with me. I wish you were here in the kitchen with me. Come to our little yellow house, hang out in the kitchen. There's plenty of room in this kitchen. It's a very nice size. We can drag some chairs in here. Golly, I bet we could get 8 people in here, cooking, hanging out, sitting, laughing, whatever. So I hope that you'll come by sometime if you're in the area. All right, blessings to everyone. Hope this video orientation turns out. If it doesn't, hopefully you can still get the gist of this quiche. Bye for now, everyone.